What's going on, guys? It's week 12. Finally, 2021 season 2 is coming to an end in 7 short days. So, if you watched any other videos that have been coming out recently for myself, you'll know that the channel is going to kind of transition now. We've got setups for officials. That will transfer over to next season just fine if nothing changes, if we don't get a tire model. So if all that happens and there's no tire model or anything like that yet, more than likely, even if we do get one, the channel is going to kind of transition into my league races that I do. So the DSRL on Mondays, NARC on Wednesdays, maybe even some dirt midgets on like Thursday night races. Might be able to get some of those in. So we'll kind of do race recaps and setup review with the league races instead, because I know a lot of you have been talking about like leagues and stuff, and you're kind of like me. You run leagues more than you run officials now. So setup this week was pretty easy because I already had this setup from NARC Wednesday night race a few weeks ago, I think. I can't even remember what. Maybe only a couple weeks ago. I don't remember the last time we were at Cedar Lake, but this thing was awesome. It was fastest car on track, the whole feature. So I moved up like I started deep because I had a bad qualifying and I think I crashed in heat race. But I ran through the soup and then started deep, and I was in fifth by like lap 4 when a caution came out. So ended up finishing second because if you're in the SSR chat at all, you know that me and Dustin had a little battle, and Dustin kept putting me in the wall. So yeah, F him for that. But no, I'm just kidding. I love you, Dustin. But yeah, this was the setup that I ran. The only thing I did just now differently, this was a 4.6 in the race that I did that Wednesday night. I bumped it up to 7 because I felt like it was just a little bit better. It kept the right rear planted a little bit better for me, I think. If you guys heard me talking about my King's Royal setup the other day, I had this rebound all the way down to 9, and me and Greg ran the same setup with that right rear tied down like that, and we dominated the King's Royal. That was the best setup, best feeling I've ever had on Eldora. So yeah, and then last week in the 410 race here, we talked about the left rear shock, the 3.3. Or the 4.4, whatever I ran then. I left this at 3.3 just because that's what I ran in that league race the other night, and I knew it was okay. I don't want to go changing a bunch of stuff on this setup that I know is already good. But the shock, just being able to rebound quickly, feels like it's keeping that left rear on the ground when you're coming, up to the bumps here on the front stretch or up on the bumps on the cushion. It's not throwing the car, kind of diagonally crisscross all over the track. So I think that's kind of the key. I think, making the shock on the left rear super, super soft, and then really stiffening up the rebound on the right rear is kind of my new go-to. I might have to try that on some of the setups from previous week, the previous in this, what was it, season 2? So if I find anything or make any changes or whatever, run league races at some of those tracks that I've been to, there is a league setup channel in there now that I'm gonna have in there that those will go into. So I guess these, the 360 season 2 and 410 season 2 stuff will kind of be archived, and we'll go from there. But you can see here at 360 just like the 410, except for you can use a little bit more throttle. If you got the car planted under you really, really well, you really don't have to lift very much at all. Just don't do that and break the car. It's hard to stay out of the wall here getting into 3 when the track is this wide. And then, it kills. If you tap that wall perfectly, it's going to take like a tenth off your time. But if you do what I did and really hit it, it's going to take add about a tenth on that lap, and then about another tenth on your next lap as you're slow getting to the line. So, um, yeah, avoid tapping that when you're trying to get wide enough on the entry of three to keep the car digging in the cushion, and then you should be good. I think tying down the right rear is kind of a really good. Um, it does a lot of good things. I think it keeps me pretty. I did it again there. It felt like it was keeping me really really straight on the straightaways, along with that left rear shock, allowing the left rear to kind of stay on the dirt and digging and not necessarily digging, I guess, but keeping the car from unsettling too much. Get out of the corners pretty well, and then believe it or not, that right there is actually a really fast way to enter turn three. If you kind of rub the tires here on this wall, and then you're really wide, you're open up the entry as wide as you can. That's why this is my fastest lap. That's actually an extremely fast way to enter three around the top. Like I mentioned in the previous videos, really the only thing that changes on this track is when this line goes away out here, it just becomes a slight cut down. It's staying on the banking. You can see here it's a little flat out here, right about here. So you cut down here, you'd be driving in the slick, but there'd be slick up here too. You'd be cutting down here through a little, less slick than up here and in here. And that's really the only time the line really, really changes. But as far as making passes, you're not, unless the bottom has a lot of juice left, that's not really going to be the place to pass. You're going to have to wait for mistakes. And don't throw sliders in 1 and 2. You can throw sliders in 3 and 4 pretty early when there's a lot of grip left in the track. Enter down here and let it slide out to where the grip is, and then try to get the drive off and beat the guy back to the line and stay on the outside. And you force them to throw a slider in this corner, and then they lose pretty much everything. So not much momentum to be had off of turn 2. Out here when you throw a slider, so a lot more momentum you can keep up in turn 4. But that's it for this week. I'll throw the setup up there for this one. We'll go figure out the 410 at Weed Sport, and then that's the series finale, I guess you could call it, for the official setups, at least until we get some changes maybe. But league stuff will be coming once I get some more league races going on, and then that'll be it for now, though. It's week 12. There is no last season. I think we had a week 13. Week 13 is just normal week 13 off week, so nothing to do for that week. So it'll probably be a minute before I make some videos. Going back to all this house stuff. We're getting closer to being done. We're closer and closer to this room. I think my rig, I'm going to move it out of this room on Friday this week. So I probably won't have my rig at all next weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday. Probably be like Monday before I can even get it back in here. So that's really it, though. But I'll get out of here, and you guys have a good season finale of week 12 here at Cedar Lake. Tough track, but I think you guys have a good setup this week for it. Take care, everybody.